you might have a basket,
Yeah.
and we'd all put the carbon atoms in the basket, and we'd get the feeling.
Whoever got the atmosphere card, if we were burning fossil fuels, if cars were running, if power plants were burning coal, all of that releases a tremendous amount of carbon into the air. So it's relatively easy to have people, they basically can see. They're not
Yes.
it's not an abstract concept anymore.
And you make the point that the atmosphere just gets loaded with these carbon atoms, and they're up there, and they get stuck up there. You make that point?
Well, they get stuck up there. There's a lot more there, but they don't just stay there because carbon will move from the air. It will diffuse into water. And so if there's a lot of carbon in the air, then there's a lot of carbon in the oceans. And then you've set the stage for them understanding one of the major impacts of climate change, which is the increasing, on average, global temperature. So the carbon is then trapping the heat. So what you do is you're helping the teacher understand the science behind what they're hearing in the news. And then it's no longer a black mystery box.
All right, I need your help. We have the carbon going into the ocean, and the oceans account for 2/3 of the land mass. And they go in there and they impact the snail.
Okay.
Is that what you said?
Yes, they will. They'll impact that extra carbon because it's not plain carbon. It's actually in the form of carbon dioxide.
Yes.
And when you put carbon dioxide in water, it forms an acid.
Okay, and so
now we're into a little chemistry.
Yes, this goes into the ocean,
right. So when
and we
you
start having...
Right. So I'm going to drop my ping pong ball in my cup of water.
Yes.
And so I've just added carbon dioxide to this, if this were a cup of seawater.
And if I did that here, I wouldn't want to drink, because this has germs on it.
Right.
So
I'm not going to drink my water now. But so once the carbon dioxide is in the ocean, it makes the ocean a little bit more acidic. We're not talking huge amounts, but things like snails and coral, they're hard. I'm sure you've seen a seashell or a piece of coral. They're hard because their body uses calcium to make that hard shell. And when the water is too acidic, that chemistry doesn't take place.
So that's one of the reasons why the coral reefs are threatened.
Coral reefs are threatened by many things, including the scientists refer to this as ocean acidification, making the ocean more acid.
And that's a result of all this carbon.
The carbon dioxide. And so it's actually becoming a greater and greater concern. 5 years ago, you didn't hear anybody talking about the ocean acidification. Now we realize it's not just a matter of the sea temperature rising, the sea level rising as the ice caps melt. And so the whole chemistry balance is also of concern.
All right. This is wonderful. I've learned some things. And you're a wonderful teacher.
Thank you.
And I'd like to go very quickly. And we have to be very fast here.
Okay.
You said you also have an intern program.
Yes.
And would I be correct to say an intern program, you bring in youths?
Right.
And have them work and get to see what scientists do?
Yes, exactly. So this is another very intensive program. This is for youth between the ages of 15 and 21.
Just 1 second.
Sure.
Folks, would you roll some photos for me? I believe our guest has given you some. Now go ahead.
And so this is a program that is a combination of science education and youth development, so that we target youth from groups traditionally underrepresented in the sciences.
Like what group?
So ethnic minorities,
okay.
Also low socioeconomic families. And so this is a way for them to experience whole new worlds. It's a bit of youth development as well. We actually mentor them and require them to apply to college. For some of them, they're the first in their families to go. And while we're not expecting every intern to become a PhD research scientist, we know that we are helping them become more scientifically literate and more engaged citizens. And many of them, we know the program's been running 14 years. We have 120 alumni out there.
That's
and
good.
we are just beginning a study.
We have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
I hear Filipinos don't go into museums.
Yes, I've heard that too.
Tell us what you've done up in, and you got to do it in 4 seconds.
In 4 seconds. We
seconds.
have created the world's deepest living coral reef exhibit in the new academy, and it is a Filipino reef. And we have used that as a way to connect to the Bay Area Filipino community. The Philippines have the richest, the most diverse coral reef ecosystems in the world. This is an unknown fact to most Filipinos, and it's a huge source of national pride. It's the epitome to me of our conservation education efforts, where we can combine the research. We actually have a scientist right now in the Philippines studying the reefs. We use that to create our educational and our exhibition programs.
Well, I want to say you've inspired me and you've helped educate me, and I greatly appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
And I think the California Academy of Science is blessed to have you, and I hope as you go forward with your teachers program and you thoroughly document everything and show benefit, that you do get the big grants and have an impact across the nation. Hi, I'm Michael Killen. My guest has been Dr. Meg Burke. She is the director of the California Academy of Science in San Francisco, and I strongly recommend everyone, if you're an adult, go up there by yourself. If you have children, bring the children. If you're a teacher, I suggest you contact the Academy of Science and make arrangements to bring your entire class up there. And I want to remind you that I'm involved in producing an event that is hosted by this wonderful organization, the Mid-Peninsula Media Center, and the event is called Can Civilization Survive? Hunt for a Solution. And I'm Michael Killen. Thank you very much.